Good boop. Yes, such a good boop.
That was...
What are you doing? Are you saying hello? You gonna groom me back? Like, oh, yes you are, you good girl. Hi, Stinky. You gonna groom me back? Like a nice girl? Just don't bite my titty, please. This is Gala in jail. Because, you know, I got the round pen to jail Gala because she was too bossy. Not to train the Mustangs in, just mostly to jail this little turd. Because she's too outgoing now. And then she chases my Mustangs away and makes my presence punishing to them. Because she's bad. And they follow me too, so this is nice. And why, like, with both Gala and Juniper and also Mesa, I'm gonna just mostly teach them how to lead at Liberty, and then we'll teach them from there because it's easy. And Gala's like super well halter broke now, even though I've barely walked her in a halter, because I taught her how to Liberty lead first. And honestly, that's something that's pretty new to me. I haven't done it with a lot of horses. Usually I don't teach them how to lead at Liberty first, but it worked really well, so now I'm doing it again. Actually, just give them a chance. Right? You're like, none of that shit. Give me the good stuff. I can't tell if you like this because you're not always very clear with your face. Do you like this or are you just tolerating this? Is that okay? Oh, is that a lip? Did I get a lip for the first time? Really? Did I get a lip? Good girl. Oh, is that a lip? You're showing me. Good job. Oh, Shannon, you're so cute. Is that a lip? Building trust with horses in such a large area can be hard, especially when you have 2 to 3 horses demanding your attention. So I got this round pen initially to put Gala in so I could work with both Mustangs without her around, because Gala is way more tame now. But now I'm going to be using it to get both Mustangs used to confinement with and then away from each other. And it will just allow me to train them without having Gala get involved and get too pushy or have to split my time training between 3 horses, because as is, having to split between 2 horses and training 2 at a time has meant that I basically split in half the sessions that I could be dedicating to 1 horse when I'm working with both Mustangs. So that's definitely been a challenge, especially with the amount of space that they've had to get away from me in the beginning when they chose. That's definitely slowed things down, but it's also been super interesting from a case study standpoint for me to learn about the complications of training in large areas when you're working with wild horses. And it's also really tested my timing and my patience as a trainer, so I'm really appreciative of it, and it's been such a great experience. So the confinement training is going well, as you can see, because they have confined themselves. I just got here and they're just chilling in there. Juniper's over here, but she does go in there. A lot of my work with them has been about consensual touch and just getting them used to being handled and tolerating touch, and then hopefully going to the point where I can find areas that they enjoy being touched and take that from toleration to actual enjoyment. But even if they just tolerate, this is a good start in my opinion, because it's the kind of stepping stone to getting them to allow me to get spots where they enjoy it and start to relax into enjoyment. Are you right behind me? Yeah. Oh, do I smell bad? Thank you. With the way I see it, both of these horses have had their introduction to humanity taken completely without their consent in the worst way possible. So my way of training them this first time is a way of allowing them to reclaim that autonomy and that consent, and just really prioritizing handling them in a way that they're comfortable with and allowing them to participate in their domestication in a way that they weren't able to when they were initially rounded up. And it's also been really healing for me. I've really needed a reset like this in my horse training and to do something like this. So it's been cathartic in a lot of ways, even if it's unconventional in how a lot of people view it. I've noticed such a positive change in both of these girls' personalities, and it's also just been such a positive change in how I approach things in training. With Mesa especially, the consent has been important because she is definitely the more damaged and traumatized of the two. I noticed fairly early on that Mesa has an old eye injury on her right eye where she's missing about a third of the bottom waterline of her eye, and she does have some minor vision loss. Interestingly enough, she's actually more comfortable being handled on this right side, but both fillies are more comfortable from the right. So in my opinion, I think this is because they were branded on their left side and that they're more guarded of that side as a result. But that's just something to consider. I'm not sure how Mesa injured her eye or what was involved with that, but it is something that has happened to her. And from what she's told me with her personality and how she responds to things, she definitely has had some trauma, regardless of how big or small it was. It's clearly impacted her. So I've taken my time a lot slower with her because I really do want to become her friend, and I don't want to completely collapse the trust I've built. So this is pretty cool. I couldn't film them following me in here, but basically what I started doing is I started feeding them in the round pen to get them used to being confined. And then eventually they just started either putting themselves in here first or just following me in here. And they always eat their snacks in here. Gala will sometimes get locked in here instead, but I usually separate them from Gala for feeding. And then I just work on standing near them and doing stuff while they're eating, because before they didn't really like it. But I'm really proud of them for being so calm in here. I know it doesn't really seem like much, but like before they were really hyper vigilant about following me in anywhere, and it was a really big source of fear for them. So this is such a lovely change to see for them, and I'm so proud of them. Come without touching the phone, please. That would be cool. Come on. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Stop touching. Stop it. Stop it, you silly girls. Yeah. Okay. I'm not trying to be micromanaging y'all, but it is annoying when you keep fucking with the phone. Come here, June. Good curiosity, but please don't knock the phone. Oh my god. Okay, come on. Stop effing with that. Oh my god, girl, you walked right into it. Are you kidding me? And I'm kind of still figuring out if Mesa's body sensitivity and not wanting to be scratched and stuff as much is simply due to nerves, or if she might have some underlying body soreness or anything. So we're gonna look further into that eventually once they can get a more in-depth vet exam, because sometimes horses who are in pain have increased fear responses because they feel less safe, and that could be the case with her too. You never know. So it's always worth looking into, but she could also just have a higher degree of trauma than Juniper, which is also okay. This was a little bit of an interesting moment where Mesa decided to lay down and roll right beside me. It was a little bit surprising to me because horses only really lay down when they feel safe because it's such a vulnerable state for a flight animal. So it was interesting. I kept an eye on her because I was a little concerned initially if it was because she was uncomfortable or something, but she was totally fine after she got up. She did get up when I threw some food into Juniper's little dish because that made her a little bit nervous, but this was kind of cool. I guess she just really wanted to roll and probably would have left to roll if the gate was open in this round pen, but it was closed because I didn't want Gala to come in with us. But yeah, it was neat to see because Mesa of the two has been the slowest to come around into feeling like safe around me and not be as guarded around my presence. So it's been cool to see her transformation. Juniper is a lot more outgoing of the two, and she's gotten more comfortable around people a lot quicker and has kind of realized that she likes being scratched and touched in certain areas and is a lot less guarded than Mesa. But from the very beginning, I kind of noticed this in her because I thought that she was a little bit more curious and at ease around people right from the beginning. So it's not super surprising to me, but it has been cool to see, and I think I've bonded with her really well. So I'm excited to continue working with her and getting to know her, and then also having my connection with her strengthen and allow me to help Mesa get more and more comfortable around me. But as you can see, Mesa's still pretty good. She'll follow me around and she lets me touch her and handle her. But in Mesa's case, I view a lot of that as just her toleration of me rather than an actual enjoyment of what I'm doing. Friend. Hi, Mesa. You're right there. Both of you. With horses, handling legs can be something that's difficult to get them comfortable with, especially wild or feral horses because they're flight animals and they're well aware of the fact that they need their legs in good working order to flee. And they are also well aware of the fact that they need to be able to have their legs on the ground in order to flee. So holding up a leg and working with it in the way that we need to for cleaning out their hooves and farrier work is something that's such an unnatural behavior, and it's also a behavior that doesn't feel particularly safe to them. So this is something to consider because it's honestly one of the behaviors I would say humans take the most for granted in horses, where we kind of have this expectation that they should just do it for us and do it quickly, and we don't necessarily actually consider the difficulty of the behavior that we're asking. So I shape this behavior pretty slowly, firstly because I don't want to get struck out at or kicked or have them respond in a dangerous way. So the first part of my shaping process for this is just making sure that they're comfortable with me handling their legs. And as you'll see, Mesa's at a different stage for this than Juniper is. So I stay within their comfort zone and work with them with what they're comfortable with, and then gradually shape further as they gain comfort. The place that I have them has a lot of crushed rock down, so they've actually self-trimmed really well, but in the event that they don't, with horses like this, I would just sedate to trim until they're really, really good with having their hooves handled. Like, ideally, if I can't handle the hooves at liberty, then the behavior's not finished, in my opinion. And with these girls especially, I don't want to, like, tie them up or halter them to do this work because that's just making them feel trapped on two accounts. So I want them to feel more free and like they can flee if they need to help build comfort. Wow, June, look at how clean you are. You're so clean. What are you guys doing? You're being silly? What are you doing? Hi, Gala. Watch how confidently she walks into captivity now. Good girl, Mesa. Working with these horses has almost been a meditative experience because it's required me to be really present and really conscious of what my body's doing, how I'm moving, and what the horse is feeling, and just be really in tune with them. So it's been so good for my mental health and just like healing and working on myself. And because of this, I've actually ended up doing less filming of it than I initially intended to, because I started listening to like mental health podcasts and audiobooks by like Gabor Mate and learning about human psychology and trauma and whatnot. And it's been really cool to do that alongside working with traumatized horses, because it's just been healing for the both of us. I've gotten to learn more about myself and about human psychology and just about how the world works, in addition to learning about these girls. And I've really, really enjoyed it. And it's just been such a great learning experience for me. And it's really helped prime how I'll shape behaviors and just kind of really helped fine-tune my positive reinforcement work. Growing up, I had like riding prioritized to me as being the be all and end all, and the thing that I needed to be doing with horses, and the thing that I should enjoy doing most with horses. So just existing with them and enjoying grooming and stuff like this was something that got extinguished in me from a young age. Like getting into horses initially, I loved them so much that I would have been happy doing anything. But as I got older, I was taught to prioritize different things a lot more. And I kind of lost the love of just like existing with them quietly like this. So working with the Mustangs has helped me regain that even more. I've already been on a path to doing that, but this has been a healing experience in that regard. I know one of the main complaints people will have about the way I've worked with these horses is about how slow it's been, but it's been for me and them, and it's been really healthy for all of us involved to go at this pace, because first of all, I do believe that this is the pace these girls needed, and the factors that I could have used to speed it up, I really didn't want to use in the beginning, because if I tried to confine them in a round pen like this from the get-go, Mesa for sure would have tried to jump out of it and get away from me, because she really just was not okay with having me around. And that aside, what I really wanted to do was to do this unique experience with them where I'm doing it at liberty like this in such a large area, because it challenges my own personal skills, and it's just something that I haven't really seen anyone do, where they're gentling horses in an area where the horses can easily escape from them. So it's something that I wanted to try to do, and doing it with my first set of Mustangs I think was just a really special thing. So if I end up getting more, I might do things where I could speed up the process while still keeping it ethical, but I'm really glad that I went about it this way, because it's been so cool to watch how they develop and just to see what things like speed up the process and what things slowed them down. Because for example, when I had to inject them with sedatives so that the vet could see them, that definitely disrupted my bond with them and made them mistrust me after that. But I was able to do an intramuscular injection on 2 wild horses at liberty, which is super cool. Unfortunately, I did not get that on video, because I've noticed that they behave differently around me when the camera's running, which means clearly I'm behaving differently. But I didn't want to make it go sour or have it get dangerous, so I just did it. But it was really, really cool, even though it did damage my trust with them temporarily. Like that. You're such a good girl. I think the coolest part of this whole process has been just watching their personalities develop, because I've seen them go from these horses who were fairly shut down and just disinterested in what I was doing and didn't really want to get to know me. And while they were curious, like they just didn't really have any desire to like actually hang out with me, which I get. But I've watched them go to these really outgoing, kind of curious horses who come right over to the gate. Like, even if I don't come into the field now, I can go and park my truck by the gate, and they'll come over and watch me from the gate and just wait for me to come in. Like, they want to interact now, and they've started to become a lot more loud with how they try to go about seeking attention from humans. And it's been so cool to see their personalities gradually develop more and more and more. And I'm sure it's just going to continue happening as they gain confidence in the domesticated lifestyle. Like, you can see Juniper grooming me here. she started mutually grooming me back, which was a really cool thing to have happen. And it's something that I really cherish because it was so special to see. If I could share anything for people to take away from this experience, it would be to just go your own way and do what feels good for you and your horses and not worry about what other people think. People will make fun of me all the time for slowing down and claim that I'm a poor trainer because my results don't come immediately. But in the process of slowing down and reclaiming my authentic self and changing how I do things with horses, I've been able to heal myself and horses around me. And if it's making me feel better about myself and me feel happier and more fulfilled, in addition to positively changing the horses around me, I know that I'm doing something right. And other people who cannot see that benefit just haven't gotten to the place where I am today. And hopefully they will, because it has been so rewarding and so healing for me, and I'm really thankful to have gotten the opportunity to do this with these two amazing horses, and I'm really excited to see how things continue to go. Hi, ladies. Aw, thank you. So nice.